It's Nolan.
Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Yeah. Y'all must have forgot I'm on my Roy Jones. Flow terminally ill, talking full blown. The Ghost Rider, I wrote the script to your tombstone. Kill your favorite rappers and tandems, call it a group home. I've been keeping it discreet, but this shit ain't sweet. Once I hit my motor, start to reach. Niggas shit they breach. I got songs in like 200 shows. What I gotta lead? Pull a nigga name up on the sheet and it's bon appetit. Fucking with the wrong one, I hope you got a strong gun. Every verse I'm going on them, they call me the Shogun. Pull a beat, 15 minutes, bet I get this song done. I can't trust a rap nigga that's stepping with his toes done. Fuck 'em out. Shout the Lord done it all. I'm Barry Sanders. I'm juking niggas from the coin toss. I'ma run the ball. That's 6 points. I get the money off the ripple when my pinpoints. Pinpoint precision. Envision me on my rich boy. These on the bit. Trigger finger if it's itchy. I might squeeze on the flip. Bullets coming with a name. Let you bleed on the tip. Put a nigga in the box. Then I'm fleeing on the trip. I'm too king for me to slip. I want Parmesan. I Parmesan. I walk in the alarm on. I'm barking like a dog. And now your bones are what I'm chomping on. Sun down, bitch. I'm back to bending like it's Ramadan. Yo, 15 minutes was broad, it's like a calling card. Don't mean to ramble, this shit is like a free sample. I'm here to make an example, these appetizers ain't ample enough. Fire like a candle, I'm up, right from the panel I jump. Back in this shit, entertaining y'all on my channel, I'm the main event. Learn to use my voice so I could pay the rent. Nigga talking shit behind the phone that they ain't pay to get. Drop and give me 50, nigga, I get on my trainer shit. I don't do no freestyle, tell me I get paid to spit.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there as we start this new week. As everybody should know, a lot of the content creators and YouTubers out there, they're doing, 1 year later with all of the songs that were released in the beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. I'm not necessarily going to do that, but I am going to use some new footage that's been released from Birdman in his new interview with Nick Cannon that was released recently, where he talks about some of the business between himself and Cash Money, Young Money artists, namely Wayne, Drake, and Nicki, specifically Drake, where he basically confirms what people had always been speculating about, not to mention what was also filed in terms of legal as it pertains to the nature of Drake's contract with Cash Money, the money that was owed to Aspire, which is J Prince Jr., aka Jazz Prince, who discovered Drake to begin with, pitched his music to Wayne. Wayne wasn't interested. It took, a little bit of time before Wayne actually got convinced that he wanted to work with Drake to begin with. They end up bringing him into the fold. They do a contract between Drake, Wayne, Cash Money, and Aspire, which was Jazz Prince's company at the time. But then as Drake's career took off, Aspire felt like they were being cut out of the deal, right? And in Birdman's new interview with Nick Cannon, he talked about the fact that nobody was eating off of Drake for 10 years. The money was being held literally in escrow because of the fact that legal paperwork was filed and they couldn't come to any amicable decision on what was going to happen. And they were, fighting through the courts and all of this different type of stuff. So when we talk about Drake and money and him getting that deal with Universal a few years ago for, excess of $400 million and all of this different type of stuff, it all just really starts to make sense as to like why he's really, I'm not saying that homie was broke over the years, right? Especially can't say that compared to a simple person such as myself lifestyle. He been rich the whole time in my estimation. But compare it to what he was actually producing for Cash Money, Young Money, Universal, and all of these different companies, he definitely wasn't seeing his just due or what he was supposed to get. And that also harkens back to when he was dissing Kendrick, why it made no sense why you would get on push-ups and talk about the way y'all doing splits, man, your pants might rip, or to get on Family Matters and say your daddy got robbed by Top, you stunning Wayne like father like son, You're over here trying to taunt this man over his record deal when it's very public knowledge that your record deal was fucked since 2008. Right? You didn't really become your own man until 2018, even after OVO was established after a company. 2018, Scorpion came out and he started kind of moving on his own tangent. And to be honest, his music ain't really been good since that time. You know what I'm saying? Certified Lover Boy, which terrible album cover, terrible title. But that was pretty much the last batch of salvageable music from Drake since then. So maybe you should have stayed with them motherfuckers, man, because your shit been fucked up ever since. But anyway, we're going to pull that up. We're also going to pull up, we're going to go to J Nolan from future past, the ghost of J Nolan past, and pull up last year when we actually talked about the Aspire deal between Drake and Jazz Prince. I don't want to reopen the paperwork and reread it, but I did a video on it last year. I'm going to bring that back up to remind people of the specifics of what was going on in that situation. Because again, Birdman came out and basically confirmed it, you know, in talking to Nick Cannon about how Young Money and all of them produced over $2 billion off of those three artists, Wayne, Nicki, Drake. He's saying Cash Money brought in $2 billion off of them. Just think of what, and each of them, you know, have had their own financial issues. Again, all of them compared to me, rich as fuck. But again, with the way that things have been handled in their careers, they definitely have taken their own bits of bumps and bruises. Again, they're living great, but could probably be living even greater had things went in their favor. You know what I'm saying? Business-wise.
I was able to allow Drake do whatever he wanted to do.
Right.
Kept him flowing.
Right.
So if Drake putting out albums, we all making money.
Right.
Even Wayne. Even though while they was tripping, I still was putting hustles down.
Right.
Still made sure Nicki got whatever she wanted.
Yeah, and even because Wayne had to go sit down.
He sat down for 5 years.
Wow.
Once you start that legal shit, it's all fucked up, blood.
Right.
Because
so did it all start when he went and got the gun charge and was arrested? Is that what?
No. That was way after that.
Oh, so okay. Because I feel like once Wayne went and did the little time, that's when Drake and Nicki got.
That's when they rose. That's when they risen.
Yeah, they got popping.
Down. That's when it just happened to happen like that.
Right.
They was about to pop regardless.
Right.
You remember? Wayne just happened to go behind the wall
and then Wayne came home and was even bigger. He got
Drake
back to it.
Always took it upon himself. I can't say nothing but respectable things for that young man. Drake, right. You hear me? Real stand-up nigga.
Right.
Fuck with him to the end of time.
Right.
He took it upon himself, Stunner. I know y'all gonna solve y'all shit. I'm gonna take the label and put it on my back.
Wow.
I got this shit till you and Wayne solve y'all shit. I'm going to handle this shit. I'm going to keep the label going. I'm going to make sure we eating. And he did that.
Well, so the thing is, because the average nigga doesn't really understand how the industry works.
Through all that, right? Drake running it up and Nicki running it up. None but Nicki, I can't say nothing but like she always been like a little sister to me. I love her to death.
Right.
Solid as a motherfucker. Solid than a gang of niggas. Right. Super solid. First of all, nobody got money from Drake for 10 years.
Wow.
So the money just piled up.
Ah.
So, and with all this shit going on, I refused to, I could have got my money, but I didn't want to get my money because that wouldn't have looked right. I got mines and they ain't got theirs. So fuck it. We're going to let it pile up. We go whatever Drake want, he gets. I don't give a fuck what it is.
And this is because you're going to the distributor, Universal. So it's piling up with them.
Oh, no, it's in escrow.
Okay.
It's in escrow.
Got you.
Once you start the bullshit, ain't nobody touch it.
You can't touch it. So when legal action gets going, the money gotta sit in escrow.
It's in escrow.
Right.
It just was sitting.
Right.
So it was 10 summers before anybody made any money off Drake but himself from the crew.
Right.
Everybody he was in business with.
Right.
So I made sure that Whatever he wanted, he got. I don't give a fuck if it was 30, 40, 50, whatever Drake wanted, he got. Same thing with Nicki. So we kept
And
the
we
flow
talking
going.
M's when we say
Yeah, we
30,
talking
40,
real
50
money.
million.
Hey man, honestly, Gladys, I done $2 billion between Drake, Nicki, and fucking Wayne. Solid.
$2 billion.
$2+ billion.
$2+ billion
These
between
people
Drake,
done
Nicki,
made
and Wayne.
hundreds of millions of dollars with me, man.
Wow.
Guaranteed.
So that's Birdman doing a professional interview, not speaking nowhere near into the goddamn mic with Nick Cannon, talking about the financials of Drake's career and how he ran up the bag, even despite Wayne being in distress, Wayne not getting his just due, Wayne, eventually coming to sue him. That's what even sparked that direction of the conversation, was for him to talk about Nick Cannon had asked him, like, how was it going through that situation where you and Wayne fall out? Then years later, y'all come back together. That whole financial situation, people in the industry looking at y'all funny, blah, blah, blah. That's what actually led them in that direction for him to talk about the whole Young Money thing, because he basically was saying, even with us going through that BS and Wayne was suing me for X amount of dollars that he was owed, which Birdman has come out and apologized about since. Not sure why you would apologize for holding on to people's money instead of paying them. You could have did that the first time, but whatever. But he basically was saying how Nicki and Drake were running the mantle for Young Money, Cash Money for many years. And with them blowing up and having the industry in a stronghold and having all of these radio hits and all of that type of stuff, they kept the cash registers ringing. Even though Wayne was unhappy and disgruntled, it was also producing money that would also impact Wayne's pockets, right? But unfortunately, as it pertains to Drake, being that he had signed that early deal with Aspire and Birdman wasn't cashing any checks over to Aspire, even though they had agreed to split the money 3 ways or something like that. So Drake is putting out all these albums, breaking all these records, going on these feature runs, linking up with all these different artists from all over the world, trying out different sounds. You got motherfucking, you got Toronto Drake, you got Joe Budden Drake, you got Migo Drake, 2 Chainz Drake, you know what I'm saying? You got Middle Eastern Drake, you got Jamaican Drake, Barbados Drake, all of these different iterations that he's, morphed into during the tenure of his career. And for 10 years, the money is sitting in escrow because Jazz Prince Jr. said, hey, y'all motherfuckers is eating over there, but y'all trying to cut me out the deal and y'all ain't been giving me what's contractually owed to me. Therefore, till y'all make me whole, till you do right by me, everything around you motherfuckers gonna crumble, right? And it didn't get settled until 2019 out of court for an undisclosed amount of money that he was given until they could actually sever ties contractually. Now, Drake is still working. I won't even say working, but Drake is still associated with Jazz Prince, J Prince, Mob Ties, all that. I don't know what their situation is today, but once again, I'm going to pull up my previous video breaking that down so you kind of understand the specifics of how shit got fucked up. Because again, this show is called Inside the Industry. It's not just about talking about it, but actually producing the actual real life shit. So I'm going to check out and let Ghost of J Nolan Past come break this shit down through the paperwork. And maybe this was Paperwork Poppy's first experience in the game, and now he's suing UMG after losing a massive rap battle. Ain't that crazy? I've actually got access to the lawsuit, which was filed back in, well, the lawsuit was originally filed in 2012, the first lawsuit. But I have the version of the lawsuit which was filed in 2017 between Aspire Music Group and Cash Money Records. Aspire Music Group is the first deal that Drake had. This is when he first signed with Jazz Prince, aka J Prince Jr. And they had some sort of arrangement with Cash Money where they were supposed to do a profit sharing type of deal with Drake where they would partner together. So he came in under false pretenses of things, and money wasn't being paid to him nor to his group, or to his smaller label. So when you come out here and try to accuse people of doing splits that their pants might rip, your shit was already distressed for a while. You know what I'm saying? Niggas had already threw your shit in bleach. Niggas had already cut the holes out the motherfucking kneecaps. And to some, they might, once we get through this, niggas might say they cut the ass out on your shit like Prince. But I don't want to go that far. Plaintiff, Aspire Music Group LLC, buying through its undersigned counsel and for its complaint against defendant Cash Money Records Incorporated, hereby alleges the following upon information and belief. Okay. Introduction. This is an action for breach of contract, accounting, unjust enrichment trust, conversion, and constructive. Statement of facts. Aubrey Graham, professionally known as Drake, is a popular hip-hop rap recording artist in North America. On or about December 10th, 2008, Drake signed an exclusive recording artist agreement with Plaintiff Aspire. Said agreement provided Plaintiff Aspire the ability to negotiate with third parties to furnish Drake's services to others for the purpose of creating musical recordings. On or about June 26, 2009, Aspire entered into a memorandum of agreement with defendant Cash Money Records Incorporated / Young Money Entertainment, pursuant to which Aspire furnished the exclusive recording services of Drake to Cash Money. Pursuant to this agreement, Drake's gross compensation will be paid to Cash Money, that would in turn be responsible for payments to Aspire and to the artist. So let's just break this down in simple terms, right? Drake first signed with Aspire. Then somewhere in 2009, Aspire did a deal with Cash Money in which Cash Money was to receive his monies, his earnings. And Cash Money was then supposed to pay Aspire a portion of that money. And then from there, a portion of the money would go to Drake personally, right? So that's a three-way split already. Now, pursuant to the agreement, we talked about that, all right. Pursuant to the agreement, Drake's gross compensation will be paid to Cash Money, that would in turn be responsible for payments to Aspire and to the artist. On or about August 12, 2009 and August 13, 2009, defendant Cash Money filed 4 trademark applications seeking registered trademarks from the United States Patent and Trademark Office for marks affiliated with Drake, including the words Drake and Drizzy Drake. So at that time, Cash Money filed trademarks owning Drake's name and alias Drizzy Drake, which today, I wonder who owns BBL Drizzy. Just being funny, I'm playing. Pursuant to the agreement, defendant has had a continuing obligation to make payments to Plaintiff Aspire and provide accountings related to the same Aspire agreement up until the present. Plaintiff now seeks a full accounting, including any and all books and records regarding Drake's full sales history, cumulative mechanical royalties, marketing costs, and producer royalties, recording costs, and accompanying statements, and any and all of the relevant financial information regarding any revenue and or profits associated with Drake's music. So at this point, they want all records associated with Drake's name and music to see how much money he had actually generated so that they can calculate how much they're actually owed. Plaintiff hereby demands that defendant Cash Money account and pay to plaintiff its share of revenue from Drake's recording sales. To date, there have been no documents produced that can confirm whether plaintiff's proper share of revenue from Drake's recording sales have ever been provided by defendant. Now, keep in mind, this is 2017. They're saying they have no records of what they were supposed to be paid. So at this point, there had already been, 5 or 6 Drake albums released, and they had no records of what he had earned. What the f is going on? But I'm just giving y'all context as to how this played out. Defendant continued to employ stall tactics and repeatedly refused to provide the aforesaid documents necessary for plaintiff to determine how much money it is owed from the sale of Drake's recordings through and including the present. Defendant has a continuing obligation to pay plaintiff related to profit advances, net profits, and other advances due to Drake. As a direct and proximate result of defendant's actions and or inactions complained of herein, plaintiff has suffered irreparable harm and damage and has been forced to retain the undersigned counsel and agreed to pay it as a reasonable fee for its services. All prerequisites to filing suit have been satisfied, have occurred, or have been waived. They say and for a first cause of action, breach of contract. The plaintiff repeats, reiterates, and re-alleges each and every allegation contained in paragraphs 1 through 17. On or about June 26, 2009, the parties entered into the agreement, right? Pursuant to the agreement, plaintiff was to receive 1/3 ownership in the matters. So Aspire was supposed to have 1/3 ownership over Drake. Pursuant to the agreement, paragraph 7, Aspire shall be entitled to 33.3% of net profits derived from the commercial exploitation of Drake's recordings. Now, I would love to know, was Drake included in that 33%? Because, of course, you can have 33% for Aspire. You can have 33% for Cash Money. But who was the 33% on the other side? Was it Universal? Because then that would be 3 motherfuckers getting paid before him. And I'm quite sure that's what it was. But let's continue. Plaintiff has complied with all conditions precedent and all its obligations pursuant in the agreement, or they have been waived. As a result of the actions and or inactions defendant Cash Money, plaintiff has been damaged in an amount to be determined at trial. Plaintiff has retained the services of the undersigned counsel to represent it in this matter and has agreed to pay all costs and reasonable attorney's fees. No part of said sum has been paid despite due demand. Wherefore, plaintiff requests that this honorable court award judgment based on the damages proven at trial, interest costs, attorney fees, and whatever this court otherwise deems just and proper. For second cause of action, they reiterate all of the same. Let's go to 28. Pursuant to the agreement and based on defendant's acceptance to be obligated to account and to make payments to plaintiff based on profit advances, net profits, and other advances in connection with Drake, a fiduciary relationship has been created and does exist between plaintiff and defendant. The sum of money due to plaintiff from defendant includes, but is not limited to, profit advances, net profits, and other advances derived from Drake's recording agreement and calculated consistent with the terms therein. Okay? They say the sum of money due continues to accumulate and grow daily. Without a proper accounting, it is impossible for plaintiff to ascertain the true amount in which it is due. Plaintiff currently has no access whatsoever to any accounting documents representing funds obtained by or payments made by defendant as a result of profit advances, etc. So they keep, the legal jargon, they keep repeating themselves. They say since the books and records are solely and exclusively within defendant's control, they can't get access to it. Hence, plaintiff has no means by which to determine the true amounts owed, and that defendant has improperly withheld from disbursement to plaintiff. Plaintiff is entitled to appropriate relief in the form of an accounting and inspection of all relevant books. So at this point, they want to do audits on the accounting. Okay. We're going to skip some of this because, again, it's got a lot of repetitive nature to it. In this third course of action here, they're continuing to say that they haven't received any of their 1/3 profits, right? Fourth cause of action here, the defendant has intentionally misappropriated funds belonging to plaintiff, derived directly from the profit advances, net profits, and other advances under Drake's recording agreement for Cash Money's own use. Said funds are readily identifiable. However, plaintiff has not been provided any accountings or books and or records to allow plaintiff the opportunity to determine the amount of money that has been unjustly converted by defendant Cash Money. So at this point, they're saying that there's a misappropriation of funds and somebody's being paid, but not them. Okay. I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit without missing too many details. This is the 5th cause of action here. They say this is account for tortious interference against Cash Money with the contractual advantages business agreements between Aspire and Drake. So tortious interference, that's like somebody trying to like interfere on the money. You know what I mean? Like another party comes in and is trying to like get into the head of somebody, or we'll read through this. You know what I mean? And I remember this because Dame Dash was accusing Def Jam of running tortious interference with Jay-Z when they were trying to recruit him to leave Rockefeller. So that's where I became familiar with this terminology. They say at all times relevant, plaintiff established contractual and advantages business relationships with Drake, which inter alia entitled plaintiff to be paid a sum equal to 1/3 of Drake's earnings from profit advances, that which we already talked about. Cash Money intentionally and unjustifiably interfered with the contractual and advantages business relationships between plaintiff and Drake, of which plaintiff is intended beneficiary. Plaintiff has been severely damaged and irreparably harmed. All right. So this was enacted and dated with a demand for a jury trial as of January 9th, 2017. This thing continued for an additional 2 years, by the way, to where they finally settled out of court for an undisclosed number. But Jazz Prince, Jay Prince's son, on the heels of this being out there, he had filed a $11 million lawsuit saying that he was entitled to $11 million. If y'all want to understand why Drake is still so closely associated with Jazz Prince, is because he had to make this nigga whole. He had gone through his whole entire career, 10 years. He signed Drake in 2007 on a whim and a prayer saying, I believe in you. And I'm gonna get you to Wayne. I got the connections to get you to Wayne. I can make this happen, right? He makes good on his promise. He gets him signed to Cash Money. But then he went 10 years associated with him where he wasn't being paid his just due from the contractual obligation. They had been effectively fucked for a decade. He believed that Cash Money started going around him, right? And started giving Drake his own advances, giving him his own agreements and stuff like that to keep him happy, to appease him. But yet Jazz, the one who discovered him, was still not getting anything from it. And with all that speculation that happened back at that time, remember, this is the ghost of J Nolan passed a year ago talking about that. We get this new video from Birdman, and he literally confirmed it all. He said the money was sitting in escrow for 10 years. Nobody was getting paid off of Drake. None of his business partners was getting shit. But we still made sure that Drake got whatever he wanted, whether it was 30 M's, 40 M's, 10 M's here or there. Basically re-upping his deal, re-upping, giving him more advances to keep him happy, keep him comfortable, you know what I'm saying, to where he could still enjoy the fruits of his rapper life while his actual earnings were being withheld. All of which J Prince Jr. was suing them for. Now we get this video of Birdman and Nick Cannon in 2025 literally stating exactly that, right? He didn't go through the paperwork. He didn't go through, naming who those business partners were, but he referred to all of them in one fell swoop and said, hey, niggas open up paperwork on us. The money had to sit there for 10 years. And while it was going down, we had to keep Drake happy. You know what I'm saying? And in the interim, Wayne, Drake, and Nicki, they made Cash Money over $2 billion. Crazy shit. But then when you hear Drake getting these 400 M's from Universal and shit like that, it really makes sense, because he had gone through most of his career getting less than what he was actually owed, just getting little, incremental pieces, and it was substantial, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't really his bread. Of course, he did endorsement deals and, did excellent for himself outside of music. But a lot of people say, Drake makes his money off music. Drake makes all his money off music. This, that, and the third. He doesn't do what a lot of the other artists do. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? The first year that nigga was even in the game, he had a Sprite deal with his motherfucking head mechanically coming apart. Like, man, we was really out here. We seen this shit happen in real life. This nigga got partnerships with all. Didn't he during the pandemic do a partnership with like fucking Beyond Burgers or some shit? It wasn't Beyond Burgers. It was a company like it though. Some plant-based burgers and some shit. Like, he has a lot, or at least had a lot of endorsements and shit behind the scenes that wasn't being like super broadcast. And I gotta say, it's really been in the last like couple years that hip hop has like been broadcast about artists, financial gain, and all of that shit. Like, this is relatively new. Like, the news cycle has been there. Certain stuff has been talked about. But now it's like prime time visuals. Like, we really be tuned into this shit, right? But we'll keep it going. In addition to that Birdman interview coming out, we also have Jim Jones, who's come out. And remember, Jim Jones came out before and said that Drake is the GOAT. He co-signed Drake in his lawsuit, which is crazy to me. You got he claims to be motherfucking triple OG gangster, this, that, and the third. I'm sure if he was ever the recipient of a lawsuit, he would be going crazy. But he co-signs the Drake lawsuit so that he can go against UMG and Kendrick. And, although Kendrick is not a defendant in that case, it's absolutely against Kendrick, right? But now he's got a new interview with Angela Yee and Mano where he doubles down on Drake being the GOAT. And yeah, I mean, although we probably won't see him and Drake together anytime soon, he's staying very much loyal, off of being on stage with him a couple years ago when Dipset was still trying to do their thing. Dipset has since been completely ripped apart. But Jimmy is still holding on.
A couple of years ago, you said Drake is the greatest of all time.
Fire.
Okay, so that still stands.
Oh yeah, baby girl.
Song of the summer.
Came back smashing, you heard? Baby girl. Shit, what you gonna say to Drake? What you really gonna do with him, man? Like, he's changed the way that we listen to music in the past 10 years wholeheartedly, and everybody that's been around, he's helped change their sound also. For all our favorite rappers, you name the top rapper right now, has helped them tremendously out in their career by just jumping on a record or putting them on a tour. Or, you know what I mean? Like, he's done more for our culture than most of these people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about it.
Okay, no, I'm just asking because that was a couple of years ago you said that, and sometimes, a lot has happened since then.
Yeah, I mean, shit, Michael Jordan lost games too, but shit, we still consider him to be the greatest, right? You dig? Like, if Kobe, if LeBron don't make it past Ant and them, then would they be like, LeBron is not the greatest no more? No, he's still the greatest. It don't change who we are. It's just Drake. Shout out to Drizzy.
And despite all of the help that he's done for other artists, we still have not seen a collab between Jim Jones and himself. But, I guess we'll just keep holding off on hope on that. All right? What's also interesting, don't want to use this person as a resource, but remember when the DJ that Don't Spin came out and said that at a certain point, Drake started collabing with artists and taking like a bunch of the publishing and shit like that off the record because you can't afford to pay me my feature price. Like, you can't afford to pay me like $1 million to get on your song. So what you're gonna do is I'm going to take the pub off this record. Your label's going to get the master or whatever, whoever. But the publishing, that's all me. And then when you think about how many collabs he did at the height of his career, with his money being held up in escrow for 10 years, it makes a lot of sense as to why he was working with so many people, you know, trying to run that bag up, you know what I'm saying, off of potential pub or feature price, all of the different type of shit. Even Wayne, when you take it deeper, because this isn't about, you know, being anti-Drake, it's just how the business panned out, right? If Wayne wasn't really seeing the bread off Cash Money like that, but he could do features for every artist in the industry and help them get #1 hits and all of this crazy type of shit, to where that money's coming to him, the pub is coming to him, those feature prices are being forwarded to his bank. It makes a lot of sense as to why he was doing that. You know what I mean? This is before a lot of artists figured out, you know, the touring situation of like, shit, if I ain't getting no money off my records, I can at least go on tour for the next 6 months. Fuck it. Eat on the run. Just very interesting to look back in hindsight at how all of this stuff panned out business-wise for these different artists and why some of those moves might have been informed the way that they were, right? Inside the industry for you. Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider, and I will catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be good out there. Much love and respect, y'all. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rags. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mile. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I've been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.